April 2026. Drivers on Interstate 4 near Plant City begin flooding 911 with the same report.
There's a truck on the interstate. It's got missiles on it.
Dispatchers do not know if this is a military transport, a prank, or an active threat moving at highway speed. Florida's emergency systems handle hundreds of millions of calls every year. Most are routine, but some begin with words no dispatcher is trained to expect.
Did you say missiles?
A quiet kitchen in Clearwater, Florida. The hum of a refrigerator, a clatter of utensils, then the sound no one expects. Heavy scraping, a low, guttural hiss. The 911 call comes in at 7:04 p.m. The voice is calm at first, then sharp with disbelief. There is an alligator in the house. Not outside, not at the door. Inside, sprawled across linoleum. Tail knocking over a chair, jaws inches from the stove. Within minutes, Clearwater Police and a Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission team arrive. The protocol is strict. Establish a perimeter. Clear the room. Keep the animal in sight, but do not provoke it. Every move is measured. The alligator, nearly 10 feet long and over 300 pounds, thrashes against the cabinets. For 20 tense minutes, the team works to secure the animal, looping a cable around the jaws and guiding the tail into a cage. The kitchen is left with deep scratches on the tile and a trail of water leading back to the patio door. No injuries, but the sense of safety in that home is changed. The alligator is tagged and transported to a wildlife preserve. For the family, the ordinary has collided with the wild, and the memory will not fade. Elsewhere in the state, the outcome is less forgiving. On a March morning at Lake Kissimmee, a kayaker's voice breaks through static on the line. "He just grabbed my arm. Blood everywhere. My elbow is torn." The caller struggles to describe the scene. A woman, her arm mangled by an 8-foot alligator, clings to the side of a kayak, the water turning red. Emergency dispatchers alert EMS and FWC. Paramedics arrive with trauma kits, applying a tourniquet above the wound, working fast to control the bleeding. Every second counts. The woman survives, but the scar on her arm is a permanent reminder of how quickly a calm day on the water can turn violent. Both cases begin with confusion. A kitchen turned battleground. A lake transformed by a flash of teeth. For responders, the only certainty is uncertainty. A single thud echoes through drywall, muffled and strange. The homeowner freezes, listening. Scraping again, this time from inside the wall near the laundry room. The first thought is a raccoon, maybe a rat, but the sound grows heavier, dragging, as if something much larger is moving through the house unseen. The 911 dispatcher asks questions quickly. "Are you alone? Do you see anyone?" The caller answers in a whisper that there is something alive in the wall. They can hear it moving, and they think it is in the pipes. When the Florida Fish and Wildlife Response Team arrives, they bring gear built for the unexpected: fiber optic scopes, flexible capture poles, and a heavy canvas bag. The lead FWC trapper, a veteran of Everglades python hunts, studies the crawl space. He slides a scope through a gap in the drywall above the water heater. The light catches a pattern, yellow and brown, scales pressed tight against insulation. A Burmese python, at least 7 feet long, has forced its way through an old plumbing breach, following the warmth of the pipes. Extraction is slow and deliberate. The team traces the snake's body by tapping gently along the wall, listening for movement. The python, coiled in the darkness, resists. It takes 2 trappers, one guiding a hooked pole through the breach, the other steadying the tail as it emerges inch by inch. The air is thick with dust and the smell of old copper. Every few seconds, the snake tightens, muscles flexing against the pole. The team works in near silence, communicating with hand signals. It takes over 40 minutes to free the entire animal, which is then secured in a reinforced bag for transport. The FWC logs the incident. The home's plumbing is inspected. Nothing but a ragged hole where the pipe meets the foundation. For the residents, the fear lingers. The walls, once safe, have become a passage for something wild and silent. In Florida, danger does not always knock at the door. Sometimes it slides through the pipes unseen until it is already inside. A thrift store in Hollywood, Florida. The air is still, fluorescent lights humming overhead, when a faint clicking sound begins from a used electric wheelchair parked near the front. At first, the staff think it is a timer or a faulty motor. The clicking grows sharper, echoing off the racks of clothing. Then a chemical smell, metallic and sour, drifts into the open room. A call is placed to 911. Something is wrong with the battery, and no one is sure if it is safe to touch. Dispatchers instruct the store to clear out, fast. Customers and employees step outside, leaving behind purses, cell phones, half-bagged purchases. The fire department arrives, followed by the local bomb squad, technicians in flame-resistant suits, carrying thermal cameras and containment bags. Every movement is slow, deliberate. The wheelchair sits alone in the center of the linoleum, its battery pack clicking steadily, a sound that now seems to fill the entire building. The lead technician kneels beside the chair, scanning for heat. The lithium-ion pack is swelling, its surface nearly hot enough to blister skin. This is the moment responders fear most, a battery entering thermal runaway, where a small defect or bump can trigger a chain reaction, ignition, fire, even explosion. The bomb squad follows the cooling protocol, dousing the pack with a fine spray of water, careful not to jolt or compress the cells. The room is kept sealed, negative pressure fans running to vent any toxic fumes. After 20 tense minutes, the clicking stops. The battery is lifted into a steel drum, sealed, and marked for hazardous waste disposal. No flames, no injuries. But the store remains closed for hours, the air heavy with the smell of scorched plastic. For the technicians, it is another reminder that danger can hide in the most ordinary places. A used wheelchair, a forgotten battery, a sound that only hints at what could have happened. In Florida, the threat is not always animal or weather. Sometimes it is silent, chemical, and almost invisible until it is nearly too late. Early morning at New Smyrna Beach. The surf looks calm, with a few scattered clouds. Families are setting out towels, children chase gulls at the water's edge. There is no warning, no siren, no sign. Then a sudden pull beneath the surface. At 9:17 in the morning, the first 911 call comes in. Swimmers are waving for help, their voices lost under the wind and the breaking waves. The dispatcher relays the message. Multiple people are caught, not one or two, but a line of swimmers drifting farther from shore with every passing second. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration had posted a moderate rip current advisory that morning, but the flag at the nearest tower has not been raised. Lifeguard Captain Jamie Ortiz is already scanning the water when the radio crackles. She grabs a rescue can and sprints, calling for backup. 3 more lifeguards hit the sand, launching rescue boards and a jet ski into the surf. The current is stronger than it looks, and each attempt to reach the swimmers meets a sideways drag, the ocean pulling rescuers and victims alike toward the inlet. The call for more help goes out.
Balones County Dispatch to Coast Guard.
We have multiple swimmers in distress off New Samolia Beach, caught in a rip current.
Copy. 7 people in the water, rough surf conditions.
A Coast Guard HH-60 Jayhawk helicopter launches from the air station at St. Augustine and cuts south along the coastline. On the beach, the lifeguard team forms a chain, linking arms and boards, fighting to hold position against the sweep of water. 2 swimmers are pulled to safety, coughing and exhausted. A third is barely conscious, eyes unfocused, lips turning blue. Oxygen tanks are rushed down from the tower. The helicopter hovers overhead, lowering a rescue swimmer who drops into the chop, reaches 2 more victims, and guides them to the waiting jet ski. Within 17 minutes, All 7 are accounted for. 2 are rushed to the hospital, 1 with water in the lungs, another unable to speak. The rest sit shivering on the sand, wrapped in towels, staring at the water that nearly took them. The beach looks unchanged, but the sense of safety is gone. For the lifeguard captain, it is another reminder. Rip currents do not announce themselves. The most dangerous force on this stretch of coast is invisible until it is too late. Every rescue is a race against time, and every calm morning can turn in an instant. A woman in Seminole County dials 911 at 2:13 in the morning, her voice trembling as she insists someone is moving above her bedroom ceiling. She describes footsteps, then a dragging sound, heavy, deliberate, and too slow for a squirrel or raccoon. The dispatcher asks if she is alone, if she can see anyone. She is certain she hears breathing, and she says they are in the attic.
Unit 3, respond to a possible intruder at 123 Oak Street.
Deputies arrive in under 6 minutes, headlights sweeping across manicured lawns and silent driveways. The patrol sergeant leads the entry, officers fanning out to cover every exit. They move through the house, clearing each room, then climb into the attic hatch with flashlights and sidearms. The insulation is undisturbed. No footprints, no sign of forced entry,
Attic is clear.
nothing but dust and old insulation. They search the crawl space, the garage, even the yard. Still nothing. The sergeant speaks with the caller, careful, measured.
I know I heard someone.
We checked the forced entry. No footprints.
I'm not crazy.
We believe you. We didn't find anything, but we believe you.
He explains that sometimes, under strain, the mind can turn ordinary noises into something more. But he does not dismiss her fear. Instead, he requests a wellness check from the county's mental health outreach team, a routine pathway for calls like these, where the threat is felt but not found. The official report lists the incident as a negative search, no suspect located, no evidence of entry, but the uncertainty lingers. For the homeowner, every creak and groan in the night now carries extra weight. For the deputies, the call is a reminder that not every emergency can be seen or solved. In Florida, the unknown is as real as any intruder. The system is built to take every report seriously, no matter how improbable, because the line between reality and perception is sometimes only as thick as a sheet of drywall. A clear spring afternoon in Polk County. A small Cessna 172 circles above the drop zone, engine humming as a group of skydivers prepares to leap. Among them is John S. Frost, a veteran jumper. Harness checked, altimeter set. The plan is routine. Jump, freefall, deploy, drift down to the field below. But as Frost exits the plane at 11,000 feet, something goes wrong. His parachute opens cleanly, then out of nowhere, the descending canopy collides with the wing of the same Cessna, which is now on its approach. In an instant, lines tangle. Frost's chute wraps around the wing strut, yanking him sideways. The pilot, startled, fights the controls as the aircraft shudders. On the ground, witnesses freeze. The 911 call is frantic. The caller shouted,
There's a plane with a parachute tangled to it!
For a few seconds, it looks impossible. 2 lives suspended, the situation teetering between disaster and survival. The plane, trailing the tangled parachute, manages a hard landing in a nearby field. Frost, still attached by his lines, is dragged but conscious. The pilot stumbles out, shaken but walking. Emergency crews rush to the scene, expecting the worst. Instead, they find both men with only minor abrasions and bruises, dazed but alive. The National Transportation Safety Board arrives within hours. Investigators photograph the twisted lines, the dented wing, the muddy field. They reconstruct the flight path, analyze the jump sequence, review the radio calls. The docket grows thick with diagrams and interview transcripts. How did a midair collision at low altitude end with only minor injuries? The answer, as the NTSB analyst notes, is a chain of tiny margins, seconds, feet, decisions made in panic. In the end, the official report lists the event as a non-fatal accident. For the responders, it is another reminder: not every call ends the way it begins. In the space between expectation and reality, survival sometimes comes down to luck, skill, or something no one can quite explain. Night falls in Seffner, Hillsborough County. The house is quiet, lights dimmed, a television murmuring behind a closed door. Without warning, a sharp crack splits the stillness, a sound like furniture breaking but deeper, as if the ground itself is groaning. In the master bedroom, the floor heaves once, then collapses, swallowing everything: bed, dresser, and the man sleeping above. The 911 call is frantic. The words come in gasps.
911, what is your emergency?
It just swallowed the house.
There is no fire, no storm, nothing visible from the street. But beneath the house, the earth has opened. Hillsborough County Fire Rescue arrives within minutes. The incident commander steps into a scene that defies training. The bedroom is a void, edges crumbling, air heavy with dust. The county geotechnical rescue team is summoned. Their equipment is precise: ground-penetrating radar, shoring beams, harnesses, and breathing apparatus. The lead engineer studies the exposed earth, a cross-section of Florida's hidden geology. Karst limestone, riddled with ancient voids, has dissolved away, leaving a cavity that finally gave out. The collapse is sudden, final, and nearly silent, leaving only a ragged hole where a life once was. Rescue is a race against time and physics. The team tests the ground with steel rods, listening for hollow echoes. They lower a camera into the darkness, searching for signs of movement. The air is unstable. Every vibration risks a further collapse. Firefighters use plywood sheets to distribute their weight, inching toward the edge. The protocol is strict: stabilize the void, prevent secondary collapse, and extract anyone trapped below. But the earth resists. The sinkhole is deep, nearly 12 feet and shifting. Each attempt to reach the center is met with falling debris. A rescue harness is lowered, but there is no response from below. By dawn, the house is condemned, the bedroom cordoned off by yellow tape. The county engineer files a report: car subsidence, catastrophic loss. The official record lists the cause as natural, but the effect is anything but ordinary. For the responders, the memory of that night lingers: the quiet, the sudden collapse, the helplessness at the edge of a hole that should not exist. In Florida, the ground itself can become the hazard. What looks solid one moment can vanish the next, leaving only questions and a void that cannot be filled. Every year, Florida's 911 centers process over 18 million calls, most for routine alarms or minor confusion. But danger rarely announces itself. Responders still walk into scenes shaped by uncertainty, where what looks ordinary can turn lethal in seconds. The lesson endures. In a state defined by unpredictability, what you don't see or don't believe is often the real threat. Stay alert and never assume the story ends with the first call.